El punto de vista crea nuestra realidad y eso incluye a nuestro cuerpo. Si mejoras la comunicación con tu cuerpo, mejoras la comunicación y la relación con tu vida. ¿Estás dispuesto a reconocer la potencia y la magia de elegir en tu vida? Las barras de Access son herramientas que te permiten eliminar todos esos puntos de vista que te impiden tener una comunicación con tu cuerpo y te ponen barreras a la capacidad de recibir. La polaridad nos impide ver las cosas tal y como son y nos hace actuar desde el drama, desde el disgusto, desde el trauma, y todas estas herramientas de Access nos sirven para poder actuar fuera de esa polaridad y dejar la adicción a ella, y que podamos vivir desde la permisión y podamos identificar cuando estamos resistiéndonos a un punto de vista. Esa permisión hace que podamos ver todo como un interesante punto de vista.
Universo, muéstrame qué energía, espacio, conciencia y elección podemos ser mi cuerpo y yo para crear oportunidades infinitas con total facilidad. Universo, muéstrales mi ser y mi energía a todas esas personas que me están buscando, que no saben que me están buscando, para expandirnos y crear un mundo mejor en abundancia, dinero, creatividad, posibilidades y conciencia. Todo aquello que me lleve a pedir poco y creer que para actualizar mis deseos requiero sufrir y esforzarme mucho, lo destruyo y descreo. Estar consciente se trata de estar totalmente presente con lo que es, sin puntos de vista ni juicios, alejando todos los pensamientos obsesivos que nos llevan al pasado, al futuro o al drama y la preocupación. La conciencia lo abarca todo y no juzga nada, y desde ese espacio podemos funcionar.
Deja las puertas abiertas para que lo bueno suceda.
Bueno, hay personas que a lo mejor lo pueden manifestar como tener miedo constantemente.
Claro, es que lo del
y
miedo
cuando haces una sesión de barras, como que esa parte se neutraliza, siento yo.
En la pregunta, como lo de Access, de qué más es posible,
¿Qué más es posible? ¿Cómo puede mejorar?
¿Cómo puede mejorar esto?
¿Qué belleza estoy buscando afuera de mí? Que mi cuerpo me puede enseñar que está dentro de mí.
¿Qué es vivir en la pregunta?
Vivir en la pregunta no es concluir con un signo de interrogación. Se trata de realmente abrirte a todas las posibilidades que el universo tiene para ti. Desde que te levantas, puedes preguntar, universo, ¿qué hermosas y fantásticas aventuras tienes para mí hoy? En una situación que sientas negativa o mala, puedes preguntar, universo, ¿cómo puede mejorar esto? ¿Qué hay de bueno en todo esto que no estoy percibiendo? En una situación en donde estés muy bien, puedes preguntar, universo, ¿cómo puede mejorar esto aún más? ¿Cómo puedo tener más de esto? Lo importante es que no solamente es que hagas las preguntas, que hagas los procesos, que te corras barras, todo eso está fantástico. Pero si no eliges, no va a cambiar nada.
La conciencia es la capacidad de estar presente en cada momento de tu vida, de aceptar todo y no rechazar nada, sin juicios, y así poder crear más de lo que te puedes imaginar. Lo que es verdad es ligero y lo que es mentira es pesado. ¿Cuántas veces hemos tratado de traer ligereza a situaciones, personas que son pesadas para nosotros? Pregúntale a tu cuerpo, ¿esto es ligero o pesado? Y podrás hacer una elección más consciente y mejor para tu vida. Deja de juzgarte. Cuando te alineas a los juicios que otros tienen sobre ti, nada más puedes estar pensando en lo patético y equivocado que estás. No te compres los juicios de nadie, incluso y sobre todo de la gente que te quiere, y verás que vas a crear un mundo mejor para ti y para todos los demás. Las barras de Access es un proceso que al tocar gentilmente 32 puntos en tu cabeza, se forman barras que se activan y así eliminas puntos de vista, juicios, actitudes que hacen que tu vida sea menos ligera. Puedo hacer millones de jales de energía o muchas preguntas, pero no eliges y no te mueves. Entonces no importa lo que hagas, no importa en qué corriente religiosa, en qué teoría, con qué herramienta estés buscando la conciencia, pero tienes que moverte y después de moverte, elegirlo. Hace más de 20 años, Gary Douglas, fundador de Access, llegó a un punto de inflexión en que sentía que su vida no valía la pena vivirla y sabía que tenía que haber algo más. Entonces comenzó a hacerse algunas preguntas. ¿Qué puedo tener, ser, crear o generar que haga de mi vida y el mundo un lugar mejor? ¿Qué puedo percibir y recibir que haga de mi vida una vida que valga la pena vivirla? Empezó a canalizar mucha información y llegó a una pregunta. ¿Cómo me gustaría que fuera mi vida? Como resultado tenemos estos 32 puntos en la cabeza que forman barras, así que Gary creó y canalizó esta información para ayudar a tener más conciencia para todos, creó estas clases para empoderar a la gente a tener más conciencia y tener una vida mejor. Este es el inicio de Access Consciousness.
Hi everybody, it's Gary.
And Dane, welcome to the Bars class. You're going to learn some really cool stuff today.
It's going to be fun, I hope.
And we wore our brightest shirts so you can stay awake.
Yeah, because God knows you want to go to sleep. But the good news is, even if you go to sleep with Access, it still works. The worst person who ever came to Access who could not feel energy was me. The first 6 months I would do bars and I'd have to ask the person, how's that feeling to you? And when they would say, well, if you pull any harder, you're going to pull me out of my body, I knew I was doing it. Otherwise, I had no clue. So just know, no matter how bad you think you are, nobody has ever been worse than me, so if I can do it, so can you.
And I'm the second worst person who ever came to Access. It literally took me 6 months to know whether anything was happening or not. Meanwhile, people are having these massive changes after a bar session, and I was like, oh, awesome, cool, okay. So please know, it's not about getting this right now. It's not about feeling it right now. It really is about learning these points and then practicing and practicing.
And practicing.
And practicing. The greatest way to get great at bars is by running bars.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, darn it, there's no way around it. So we have a request of you. Will you do us a favor? Will you run at least 25 bar sessions before you judge you for not getting it right?
And by the way, people will come to you. It's like I had one lady who came to me and she did 3 bar sessions with me. And the 4th time she came in, I thought, oh God, I'm not getting any result with this lady. And she said, well, I just have to tell you something, okay? So it's like, after the first bar session, the pain that I've had in my feet for 10 years went away. Mm-hmm. but I wouldn't tell you because I figured it might come back. And it hasn't. And now it seems to be gone permanently. And she was saying, thank you so much, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so amazed by what bars can do. I personally am amazed by what bars can do because I'm never certain, because the person who's receiving the bars is the one who determines what happens for him.
Yes, and some of you may know this, but 18 years ago, I was at a place where I was going to end my life if things didn't change. And literally, I went and I had a 1-bar session, and it gave me such a sense of space and relief and peace and access to that joy that I had been missing for years, that I never contemplated killing myself again. And so for me, and I'm not saying that happens for everybody, okay? So please don't make that assumption. But what can occur for people is phenomenal. And realize also, though, a lot of the things you're going to change for people, they're not going to tell you about, or they won't tell you about until much, 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 much later.
I've had people who told me 25 years later what they got.
Exactly. So please know that can also happen. And now you hear something, you hear about a major change like that, like it literally saving somebody's life. And you're like, well, okay, how do I do it? You just do it.
You just do the bars.
Run the bars. That's it. And run it without a point of view other than that of gifting to the person and also allowing them to receive.
And the really bad thing about bars is what you relieve in them, you also, if you have something similar, it releases in you. You get a session, you give a session, and you get paid. How does it get any better than that?
How does it get any better than that? So we're very excited to have you here. Thank you for exploring this wonderful world of bars and access consciousness. And by the way, we have about 8,000 other tools. You're going to learn the clearing statement today in class and start using that in just on anything you can. Just play with it. What we would ask of you is to play.
Yeah.
Just play. And don't make it significant. Don't make it serious, because when you do, we know how that turns out. It's not fun for anybody, especially you. Just play and just tell your friends, hey, I learned this new thing. Can I try it on you? And just play. Yeah. And with the clearing statement, just see where you can use it in your life. You'll get some processes from your facilitator, but expand that. See what else you might want to use it on and just try it. It'll either work or it won't.
And if it doesn't work, don't do it. What the hell?
And if it doesn't work, maybe something else is required. Yeah. And realize that, but it can't hurt. And this is one of the other wonderful things about access is it can't hurt. The worst that can happen...
Nobody has ever gotten worse by having their bars.
That is true.
Nobody.
Nobody has ever gotten worse. So realize that you can't hurt somebody with this. The only thing that can happen is things get better, and at the worst...
You'll feel like you had a great massage. Best case scenario, your whole life can change.
Yes, I'm living proof of that one. And actually,
welcome to the bars.
Thousands of people around the world are. Welcome to the bars. Have too much fun today. And remember, what's true for you always makes you lighter. A lie always makes you heavier. So start choosing what creates more lightness in your life. And that's what you'll start to create as your life.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
So you put your hand at the back of the head in order to start the power band. Then you're going to take energy and pull it through their feet, through their body, into your fingers, and up and out the top of your head. This opens the energy flows in the body.
Also realize that your hand is, notice how Gary's hand is on the back of my head. It's not on my neck. There are no bars on the neck, including the power band. There are certain people who like to cradle your neck while they do this. That's not where the power band is located.
Yes. And the idea is to activate the power band so you start accessing the power of everything that you have and are. Once you have that energy flow, you go down to the feet and you put your fingers in the ball of the feet, which is right here. See, there's that little round thing there and that little round thing there. That's the ball of the foot. You put your fingers in there and you pull energy down through the person's head, through their body, into their feet, into your hands, and up and out the top of your head. Okay. Then you go to the hands, and you put your finger in the soft spot in the middle of the hand, and they put yours in. They put their middle finger in yours, and you pull energy down through their head, into their arms, and into their hands, and into your hands, and up and out the top of your head. That opens all the energy flows in the body. Do you feel that, Dane?
I feel it.
Okay, good. He's got feeling. He's got feeling. He's
feel
not
it.
dead.
I feel it.
You're not dead.
I'm not dead.
So another way to do the energy pull, from the hands is to do this. And you can pull the energy through their head, into their arms, and up and out the top of your head. That also will open up the energy flows. For some people that's easier, and if you're lying on a bed doing it, it's possible. And you can do the energy flow to the feet. You can do that from the head by pushing the energy down rather than pulling it. Okay, once you have the energies running in the person's body, and you put your hands in the implant band. Now to find the implant band, basically it's the shape of the ears. You use these 3 fingers, and you go down until you feel it go into a little slot. It's right there. That proves that everybody's a slot.
Rather than a sloth?
Rather than a sloth, or
Yes.
rather than a slut.
Aha. And the other thing about that is you go over a little ridge into this little valley, and it's almost like the body, the head was made so that you could find these bars.
Yes, your head is basically a bowling ball that your fingers know where to go. So then, it's like once the person loses their head totally, you can play bowl. You can go bowling with it. No, kidding. For most people, the implant band, for Dane, it can run for 6 hours. For other people, it runs for usually about 20 to 30 minutes. 20 minutes usually. Okay? So the next bars you want to run are money, control, and creativity. Now to get those, you go up from the place where the ear connects here, you go up 3 fingers basically, and that puts you right here, and it's 3 fingers back, and the fingers happen to be shaped correctly for this position. I wonder if fingers were created for this purpose.
Now we know why the middle finger is longer.
That's right. Before you thought the middle finger should be the same length, except for when you want to flip people off, and then it needs to be longer in order for them to really get it.
Exactly. So these 3 bars are money, control, and creativity.
Money, control, creativity.
And you want to be aware of that because in the next bars we're going to use the position we're in right now, and move our fingers slightly to run the next set of bars.
And the next set of bars is what, Dane?
Creativity, creating connections, and creating life forms.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to do that.
We call them the
Okay.
3 creates.
The 3 creates.
And what you want to realize about the bars is the bars will affect whatever the bar is. In other words, so we're running money, control, and creativity right now. And so the bars get rid of all of your considerations about whatever that particular bar is. So all of your considerations about money, what it means to have it,
Well, it's
whether
the
difficult or
thoughts, the
easy.
feelings, the emotions, and the considerations that you have about any of that. And I was working with some people this morning, and it's like they had all of these energetic judgments in their world about stuff. Well, these are also energetic more than cognitive, which is why you haven't been able to handle them from the point of view of a psychological reality. Okay?
And realize that most of the judgments you have that limit you, so many of them are energetic. They're not actually cognitive. You can't really put words to them, but they're energies that stick you. And this is where the bars changes things that nothing
Right.
else does.
The bad news about the bars is if you run your bars on your teenagers, for 3.5 weeks, you get quiet. They're not as obnoxious as they have been.
There'll be a sense of almost peace in your house, perhaps, for 3.5 weeks.
You'll have 3.5 weeks of no anger, upset, and intrigue, which is normal, normal teenage reality. And the other thing is, if you run their bars, they tend to get better grades in school because they get rid of all the considerations about what they can't do and become aware of what they are aware of.
Creativity, creating connections, and creating life forms.
Yeah.
See, now Gary knows how to run bars.
Really well.
That would be an understatement.
But I've lost the ability to remember what they are.
So
So I just do them. I don't think about them.
So in contrast to so many things you may have learned, it's not about remembering it cognitively per se.
And it's not about intention. It's about allowance of that to dissipate. Because what you're doing here is creating a connection that allows the electrical charge of thoughts, feelings, emotions, sex or no sex, to actually dissipate in and of their own. Now, the reason we do thoughts, feelings, emotions, sex or no sex is because you as an infinite being can perceive, know, be, and receive. As a finite being, as a human, quote unquote, you have thoughts, feelings, emotions, and sex or no sex. And these are the things that lock us up so dynamically, and we don't even realize it.
And that's what the bars dissipates. And
It gets rid of cranky too.
boy, it really gets rid of cranky. Gary and I have a long-standing agreement that when one of us is cranky and we can't seem to get over it within a few minutes using other access tools, the other one will say to them, "Can I run your bars?
Please,
Please."
before you, before you snap my head off.
It's phenomenal in relationship, in friendships of all sorts. It creates a space where that cranky that exists for most people doesn't have to exist for you.
Yeah,
They're awesome.
they are. The next thing we're going to go to is the aging toaster. Now, why is it called a toaster? Because it actually goes down into your head. And it's like we used to say, if you can't figure it out, ask for a yellow light, that'll do it. It's cooking your toast. But it's funny because it's right here in the middle of the head. It's like it comes up here, down here, up here, aging toaster, okay?
So it's in line with the inside of the eyes and the middle of the ear.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's more toward the front of the head. It's actually back more than most people think. And the distance that you're going to be is just about an inch or so.
3/4 of an inch.
3/4 of an inch. And you can run them. Notice how Gary is using the nail beds. That's a really easy way to do it when you're on a table like this, because you just go boom, right there. Really simple to do. If somebody is seated,
And you can keep
you can do
all
it like
your,
this.
you can keep all your stuff, all your fingers in a line with great ease.
Keep all your stuff in a line.
Keep your stuff in a line.
Yeah, stop
so
letting your stuff get out of line.
don't let your stuff exude.
Exactly.
Okay, so the aging toaster, the one thing about it is what it does is it starts to, we have all these consideration about what it means to age. It's like you can't do that because you're not old enough. You can't do that because you're not big enough. You can't do that because of blah, blah, blah. And there's all these reasons and justifications for what you can't do and what you can do. It's like, and you're not supposed to have sex until you're 18, and then it's supposed to be perfect. But you've been told not to touch yourself since you were 8, so then when somebody touches you, you have to feel guilty about it. All that does is make it impossible to actually have the joy of your body. So this will start to unlock a lot of that.
And the other considerations, of course, are what happens as you get older. You start seeing wrinkles, and then because you start focusing on the wrinkles, you start getting more wrinkles. And then you have so many points of view about what has to happen as you age.
Yeah.
Those considerations start to go away.
And if you don't believe it, look at my face. Talk about considerations. I got considerations written all over my face.
You're very considerate.
Which makes me old as God.
Oh, maybe that's what you've been headed for.
That's what I've been headed for.
Going to be old as God.
Exactly.
And
all
a
that
voice.
is times of Godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond.
That was a clearing statement. And a voice boomed down from the clouds, and it was Gary. That'd be awesome. If you were God, it would be a totally different world.
It would be.
Yeah.
But I've always known that if I was God, it'd be a different world, because I would never let the kind of shit occur that occurs here.
Exactly.
And it's like, unfortunately, I think most humanoids have that point of view. If I were God, this would not be this way. Unfortunately, we aren't God, that is. But, hey, whatever.
The next set of bars that Gary's running right now are form and structure, hopes and dreams, awareness, control, and the bridging bar.
And what the bridging bar does is it bridges all the considerations of bodies, sexuality, and aging.
So everywhere those intersect,
Yeah.
your considerations about those start to go away.
Yeah.
Now, in this particular set, like Gary's hands are made for it. It's
Yes.
like almost like what he was born to do.
It is what I was born to do.
For some of you, you may find that it's difficult to do
If you have
all
little
five.
hands, if you have little hands, it's going to be harder.
Especially if you have little hands on a big head. So you need to find a workaround for it, which maybe you just do form and structure, hopes and
You
dreams,
do
and the bridging
these
bar.
two
Yeah.
and the bridging bar, or you do these two and the bridging bar. Okay?
So feel free to
Do it according to your hands.
do it according to your hands, and just make sure you do it.
Yeah.
Because every one of these bars plays a role in you getting more aware, you getting more conscious, and getting rid of the considerations that are running your life. And if we've noticed one thing, it tends to be the one bar that, well, there's two bars that people will miss. One of them is awareness, which is really funny because if you had total awareness, you would have no limitation in anything. And then the other is kindness, gratitude, peace, and calm, which
Yeah.
we're going to get to later.
Joy and sadness, healing, body and sexuality. Now, joy and sadness are right above the eyes. Now, there was an article in the New York Times in 1996 talking about how they had induced several hours of happiness or sadness depending on whether they put an electrode over the right eyebrow or left eyebrow. And that's exactly where we do joy and sadness. But because we run them at the same time, instead of inducing happiness or unhappiness, it eliminates the unhappiness and allows the happiness to show up. So, joy and sadness.
I'm getting happy, I'm getting happy, stop it.
Stop beating me to death. Healing, which is right in the middle of the, what's that thing
Temple.
called? Temple. The temple.
A temple.
The temple. It's your temple of greatness.
Yes.
And then the body and sexuality are right over the middle eyes and right in line with the middle of your ear.
When he
Okay.
said the middle eyes, what he meant was the middle of your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
If you,
You mean
don't
you
happen
don't
to
have
be
a
a
middle eye?
cyclops or... See, in joy and sadness, when you run them together like Gary is talking about, what happens is you undo the considerations that create the sadness that keep you from joy, because joy is actually your natural state, whether you know it yet or not.
And you may never get to know it, like some people. And some people, it may take you 10 or 15 years to get there, but you'll get there.
Yep.
Sorry.
Keep doing it. You'll get there. Actually, as with all of this with bars, just keep doing it. The greatest way to get great at bars is by doing more bars. There really is no substitute for doing it.
And the greatest way to get the world in better shape is to do bars.
Yes.
Because the bars unlock, every time you unlock your consideration that you sold to somebody else, they get free of it too. So it's like we say that basically you run at somebody's bars and 3,500 to 35,000 people get free of it. And sometimes as much as 350,000 people, depending on what kind of connector you are. Okay, all right, so the next set of bars, since Dane mentioned it, you go to the middle of the ear here and you go back three notches, and that puts you...
3 fingers.
3 fingers, sorry.
Or notches. If you
Whatever.
have notches for fingers.
If you have notches for fingers,
okay.
if you have nachos for fingers, then you have seriously a lot of cheese on your fingers, and you should lick them.
No, that's
But-
nachos.
Oh, that's nachos. Okay,
Nachos,
sorry.
yeah.
All right. So,
You know, I was walking through the supermarket the other day,
Yeah.
and I'm pushing along, and I got cheddar cheese. I got all kinds of cheeses because we were having
Yeah.
a party. And this guy runs up and he goes, "That's nacho cheese!" And I was like, "Yeah, it is. I'm buying it." Anyway, forget it.
nacho cheese, not your cheese. Okay, got it. Okay.
So this next
So
set of
next
bars
set
is kindness,
kindness,
gratitude,
gratitude,
peace, and calm.
kindness, gratitude, peace, and calm. You know, it's like these are the bars that I can personally never remember. Why? Because I don't believe that peace, calm, kindness, and gratitude is real. No. It's actually because it's the one thing I desire most in life. One of the things I noticed in running people's bars, that if you start hitting time and space, communication, and all that kind of stuff, all of a sudden they'll start talking about how time or about communication. And it's like they start talking about the subject of that's in the bar you're running. which is most amusing because it gets hotter the more they talk about it. And then all of a sudden it'll go quiet because they've gotten all the considerations out of the way that they have at that moment.
And I have to say, right now, while you're running this, there's this amazing sense of peace and calm, and that sweetness that exists with kindness and gratitude.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh.
Gratitude is one of the greatest gifts we have and one of the least used gifts there is. Okay, so one of the things that happens is if somebody crosses their hands or puts their hands together, what happens is that stops the bar.
Bad receiver.
Yeah, it's like because that short circuits what the bar is doing. So if your person is doing that, or if they put their fingers towards each other like that, that will stop the bars as well. So be aware, it'll always check when you think the bars are not running to see if they are touching their hands. Now when they're under blankets, they do it a lot because they'll try to be sneaky.
Yes.
So don't trust them.
That's right. And if you see a big bump under a blanket like this, you want to go, are you touching your hands together? And they go, oh.
No, I wasn't. I swear to God I wasn't.
Because that is the one don't with bars.
Yeah.
We don't have many don'ts in Access, but it's the one that will actually stop the energy of the bars. Now, people can cross their feet, that's fine, but not their hands. And the reason why putting your hands like this is the same as crossing your hands, because your energetic fingers are about that long. So
actually, some of them are as much as 3 feet long.
That is true. I was trying to go, they're already going to go, sorry. What do you mean? Your energetic fingers are, no. Yeah. So when you put your hands like this, if you do it like that, you're still crossing your hands.
And you're still short-circuiting the bars in that process. You're not actually getting them complete. The other thing is, don't play music while you're running bars. Music tends to turn certain bars off. That's the reason music is so popular. And it's like certain things make your bars stop running, which get rid of people's having considerations about certain things. So you got to be in that place where you're willing to have whatever point of view it is that's going to work.
And so when somebody's playing music, it deactivates temporarily certain considerations, so the bars can't let them go. So you actually get a less effective bar session if you play music. Watching television, on the other hand,
will activate the suckers like crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, watch a movie they don't like, or watch something wonderful like Criminal Minds. Oof. Talk about something that will make the bars run for years. Yeah. That's one of the things.
And like for me, one of the things I've always had a trouble with is, body mutilation of any kind, piercing or that sort of thing. So there were times where Gary and I were running bars, we would watch TV and one of those programs would come on and Gary wasn't necessarily watching, go, what just happened? I'm like, what do you mean? He's all, your bars just heated up like crazy. I said, well, there was just this lady shooting up and
So it's like it doesn't matter what it is. Any kind of mutilation makes his bars run hotter and stronger and longer.
And the interesting thing about it is, and you may notice this also, that when you have your bars run, while something is like that, something you have this aversion to that it just seems like it's innate to you, it gets easier to be an allowance of whatever that is. So at this point, I can watch certain things that I could never watch before without literally having to throw up, which, is progress.
Okay, so it's like your fingers make this kind of sign. That's the peace sign, but it's also the place where you find how to get these front 2 bars, okay? See, if you put your fingers like this, okay? This is the line you want to follow to get these next 2 bars.
Which are time and space and communication.
Yes, time and space and communication. Not that they ever run very hot on anybody. Whew. I noticed that when I ran Dane's bars, after I hired him to make phone calls, which he never made, it's like his bars ran really hot.
Especially on communication.
Yes.
And
time and space, because it took too much time and too much space to do communication.
And so the considerations you have about time and space are what create time for you as something that limits you. So
it requires you then to take longer to do things than you actually need.
which is something I used to do all the time. It was like things would take 3 times as long as they had to, but I thought it had to take that long. And remember, your point of view creates your reality. So part of what's happening is your limited points of view are going away with the considerations that
Maybe
you
we
release
should
with
run
bars.
this and talk about you packing.
This is a really good idea. See, I've been packing because I've been traveling a lot for the last, 15 years. Packing always takes longer than it ever should. And my reason and justification is when I was a kid, I was between homes. And so I always, I would go and not have something that I wanted.
Oh my God.
What?
When you said the reason and justification was because these things heated up unbelievably.
Wow.
We have to talk about your reasons and justification.
Yes.
And maybe you'll be able to pack quicker.
That'd be awesome.
That would
I'm
be
willing.
great, yeah.
I'm willing. See, one of the things you find with Access, because, if this is your first bars class or you're first learning bars, this is such an amazing introduction and something that you can use to truly change a lot of the stuff that's keeping people heavy, limited in their lives. And then also we have these amazing other tools that are beyond that, where you can talk to somebody about what's going on for them and use a clearing statement to change it. And we have all these different ways of doing this. So this thing about reasons and justifications Gary and I just got to is something we're going to be exploring regarding me and packing currently. But it's also interesting because one of the things that happens is, like, this packing thing has been a thorn in my side literally for almost 2 decades now. Actually, no, it's been my whole life, because it started when I was a tiny kid.
Yeah.
And one of the things that happens for a lot of people is when they have something like that, they feel like they're bad or wrong for having it, so they won't even talk about it. And one of the things that I've learned over many years is anything that you can talk about, anything you're willing to be vulnerable with and bring up can start to change. It's only what we hide that can't change. So even if it's really tough for you to bring something up, please have the kindness to you and have the courage that you know you have to be able to talk about it, because then it can be changed.
Yeah, and choose always, okay? Because that's the greatest way to change anything, is your choice.
Yep.
Okay, so the next thing we want to do is restructuring. Now, restructuring is done from, what is this bar?
Time and space.
Time and space, and back to the power band. Okay?
And then
And
reactivation and recreation.
Reactivation and recreation, which are in line with the outside edge of the eye and the middle of the ear. And that's restructuring. And what this does is it takes away all the considerations that would bring back everything you just let go of. So this is a way to make sure you don't get any of that stuff back that you've just let go of.
And that can be really helpful if you do any type of healing work, energy work, to do that at the end of a session. I had a session, I worked on a lady one time, and she was about 76, and she laid down on the table. She was going to go in for a hip surgery, and she laid down on the table, and one hip was about 4 inches higher than the other. And after our hour-long session, the hips were totally evened, and she bounded down the stairs, and she was so happy, and everything was moving. And I made the mistake of saying to her, wow, maybe you should check with the doctors to see if you still need to have the surgery. Within 2 steps, she had recreated the problem, because she was committed to having the surgery, and she was committed to that was the only way she could change it, even though we had just changed it.
And she was committed to the doctors. And it's like, the thing is, what we do is we make commitments to all kinds of people. Whether it's our doctors, our lawyers, our Indian chiefs, or whether it's our guru, or whether it's our husband or wife or children, whatever it is, we make considerations, all kinds of considerations, to make things happen in particular ways. So we have to be in that place where we function from a slightly different point of view.
Now, had I done restructuring, I don't know that it would have changed it.
Might have changed
But it would have had far less chance of her recreating what we had just let go of, and that's what these bars do.
The next thing you do is called the circle of manifestation. It's right here at the back of the head, as though you were putting a yarmulke on your head. Now, in the olden days, I was told, and I can't verify this because everybody tells me I'm wrong, but I was told that they used to put a gold thread in the yarmulkes to go around the base of it so that you would actually manifest gold in your life.
So they would activate the circle of manifestation with that gold thread.
And if you sort of see it as running around to the right, a circle going to the right, and it will have a really great effect on making you allow things to show up in your life.
Yeah, manifestation is how things show up, not that they show up.
Yeah.
Actualization is that they show up. So this also gets rid of the considerations about how things show up in your life, how they have to show up, in what ways they can show up and can't.
Or what they're supposed to do to show up.
Yes. It, like all other bars, is awesome.
So don't get them done.
Don't do it.
And don't do bars.
Yeah.
I had one man who said to me, he said, I spent 16 years of my life in caves doing meditations, and every time I came out and saw the rest of the world, I just wanted to go back in the cave, and nothing ever got better. But since I've been running bars every day, my life has been a constant state of meditation. So just recognize. And he says, why don't you make everybody run bars all the time? I said, I can make anybody do anything? Good luck. Okay, so to finish off your session, you're going to do the Crown of Mistar. It's supposed to be spelled M-I-S-T-A-R, but somebody spelled it as M-Y-S-T-A-R, and since then everybody's called it MyStar instead of Mistar. It's about unlocking the mysteries of the universe. And what you do is you put your hands over the person's head and you start to pull their energy up, just as you did when you did the energy pull, until that opens up, and you can feel yours open at the same time. And then you're going to go to the tunnels of time and space. And the tunnels are right here above sadness and joy, right here. And you put your fingers on there and then pull up and open them up until you feel yours open as well. And then you will be done. And that is a bar session.
A couple of other things that you want to know is notice how quickly the Crown of Mistar and the tunnels of time and space were done. That's how quickly you want to do them. Some people sit and try to hold there for 5 minutes and 5 minutes. It doesn't require that. And then
it's just to get them open. It doesn't mean you have to continually keep there.
And the other thing is, with the energy pulls that you do at the beginning, those are quick also. They don't
It can be.
Yeah.
Very few of them require lots of time. But some people like to do it because it makes them feel dizzy.
Yeah. And this is the other thing, is you want to realize the bars and how you do them are going to be depending on the person. In other words, how long you stay in a particular area is going to be depending on the person.
Now, if somebody walks up and goes like this and says, I'm running all your bars,
no, you're not. Yes.
That's not running the bars. First of all, bodies need to be touched in order to learn how to receive. And it's like, until we are willing to touch the body and let the receiving occur, no receiving can occur. So please be aware that the purpose of this is multiple. Number one, we want you to receive more. Number two, we want you to receive more. Number three, we want you to receive more. And number four, in order to receive, you're going to have to be touched. Okay, everybody, so now you've had an experience of the bars.
And so did I. Thank you.
And you'll get to practice and you'll get to learn how to do this. And it's like, we'd like you to have fun with it. The purpose of Access is to create more consciousness in the world so that the world survives the anti-consciousness and unconsciousness of the majority of the people on the planet.
And running bars is one of the greatest ways to create it. Also one of the easiest and also one of the most fun.
And one of the quickest.
And remember, the more fun you're having, the more conscious you're being. The lighter you are, the happier you are, the greater gift you are to this world.
The greatest gift you can give the planet is your laughter. So feel free to laugh.
Please laugh more, enjoy more. You'll change more.
Thanks, everybody.
Look forward to meeting you in person someday. Bye.
Bye. Okay, that needs to be deleted. Just turn your head to the side a little bit.
Can you do that without it sounding like, can you take your clothes off, please?
But I like it when it sounds like that.
Just turn your head to the side a little bit.
Can you turn your side to the head? Don't move, Dane. Don't move. And how long do you want me to stay on this?
About an hour.
6 hours? Okay, got it. So this is going to be way more fun than the old version.
Consciousness is serious work.
That is us celebrating you for having taken the bars class. Good on you, mate. Oh, was that your line? No, you say it. Hold on. We're going to get a real Aussie accent.
Well done, mate.
There you go. That was good. We would like to thank you for taking the bars class, congratulate you, and let you know that for us, this is an amazing gift because you now can run bars. And what a gift this is. Have you noticed as you went through today, things started lightening up, things started changing? As you know, by now, bars changes things on a level that we can't really put words to. But once you experience it, you become part of that gift in the world.
Yeah, and can I say, I'm so super grateful. I know we are super grateful as well. When, 21 years ago, 22 years ago, when we first started Access Consciousness, we were in 4 countries and now we are in so many countries. It's so amazing and so awesome. And every single one of you contributes to the growth of Access. So what if this was just the beginning of what's actually truly possible?
Truly. And when we're talking the growth of Access, we mean the growth of consciousness around the world, where everything is included and nothing is judged. So now here's the next question, because we know you're going to ask, now what? What else can I do? Where else can I go?
So much.
So many things, so many possibilities, so many choices.
But the next class you can actually attend is Foundation, right? Foundation, and there's many, many certified facilitators all over the world. So go to the website, have a look, see which pings for you, and choose a Foundation class. And now Foundation it goes over 4 days. Dang!
Simone!
We forgot!
Dudes,
Foundation is not 4 days.
it's only 3.5.
Because Access Consciousness changes all the time.
So there you go.
That's what we love about it. You get a manual, a big, beautiful manual that has so many amazing tools in it.
I gotta say, what Foundation does is it starts to break apart the foundation of limitation that we've built our lives upon and starts to replace it with a platform of possibilities. And in the Foundation manual, you'll read through different things that we have found, because the entire manual is things that we have found that run on at least 85% of the people, that are sort of the building blocks of limitation on the one hand, where we go through and we break apart the limited blocks, the concrete blocks. You know how your head often feels like it's in a concrete block? Well, we start breaking that apart. But then also the conversation is about what else is actually possible. You start to get a sense of space that is, you start with bars, and the sense of space with Foundation goes even beyond that. And back 22 years ago, it was a different story. We were sitting in the class reading the manual, and everybody else was on page 4 and I was on page 12. And then when they were on page 15, I was on page 35. And I was just like, it was like somebody put everything I knew in words.
Yeah, I know.
All this stuff. Yeah. And I was like, seriously?
The weirder it is, the more you're like, I get that.
Explains that. My stepmother is an alien. That totally explains things,
And can I say so many tools? It's one of the manuals and the class that I go back to so often, It's like all of those, you can't even call them basic tools because they're not basic tools. They're literally tools that change any area of your life that you think is not working for you.
And they're tools that we use all the
every
time.
day.
These are the tools that we use all the time, every day in our lives.
And you get a new awareness of these tools. Every single time I use them more and more, I get a new awareness and a greater possibilities show up. It's like, that's just how it works. It's like you will change as much as what you are willing to change and receive. So this is your gig. And it's like, what are you going to choose? So foundation is not the only thing that you can do after a bars class.
What else can you do, Simone?
Well, you can actually use bars as your business. It's like you can be a bars practitioner. Oh my goodness, you can run people's bars, change their lives, change your life, and create money from it. Oh yeah.
Ooh, and if you'd like to teach bars classes, you can become a bars facilitator. And to do that, you take 2 more bars classes with approved facilitators, and then you can apply to become a bars facilitator. So there's another one for you.
What else can they do?
What else? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Katerina, what else?
What else can they do?
Oh, we covered it.
Oh.
Oh, here we go. Check
Here
this
we
out.
go.
Okay. Your next bars class is actually half price. Why? Because once you've taken it, you're part of that energy, you're part of that flow, you're part of a contribution to what that is. And so your next one will actually be half price. So if you desire to become a bars facilitator, as we refer to them as BFs,
because we shorten everything in Access.
Because we shorten everything because our worldwide business coordinator is Australian and they shorten everything, so we learn from her. If you desire to do that, 2 more bars classes and you can become a bars facilitator, and the 2 other classes are half price. How does it get any better than that? One of hopefully your new favorite questions.
So what Dane just said there about how you become a part of this energy that contributes like to the next bars class, it's like you can become a part of the energy that's changing the entirety of consciousness on the planet just by being you, by using these tools, by not going to judgment, by not functioning from limitations, by knowing that there's possibilities available and actually choosing it. And can I just say, having way too much fun choosing it as well.
What?
I know. One of the things that Gary said, right, when I first met him, he said to me, what if the purpose of life was to have fun? And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, you know, all these years I've been having these conversations and trying to figure out what I'm meant to
all
do
these
here.
Deep spiritual conversations.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of consciousness?
Who am I meant to help? Am I meant to help animals, people, blah, 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 this whole thing. And then he says, what if the purpose of life is to have fun? It actually made me cranky for a moment. And then I went, oh, wow. And I realized that if you actually choose to have fun every moment as well, it includes all of that and so much more.
And so much more. So please, our invitation to you is the awareness that what if the purpose of life were actually to have fun? And the lighter you are, the more you laugh, the more lightness you bring to the planet. And now, more than ever, is this required.
Yeah. And the last piece that I'd like to say is this is your choice. Okay. One of the first demands I ever had when I came along to Access, because I was like, whoa, this stuff is amazing. I would like every single person in the world to know that Access consciousness exists so they can choose it. They don't have to choose it. I get that. But I desired for every single person to know that it's available so they can choose it, because my life was just like, it was like heading downhill big time. And when I found Access, or it found me, however that worked, it was just like, oh my goodness, this is everything that I've been asking for. And here it is. So I would actually like to ask you to trust what you know. Don't trust me. Don't trust Dane. Trust you. Trust what you know and choose for you.
And that, my beautiful friends, if you choose it, will change everything for the greater. So thank you very much for participating in Bars. We are so honored. We are so grateful. We are so excited to welcome you on this amazing journey. And we look forward to seeing you in person soon so we can give you a hug someday and say thank you. Bye-bye.
Muéstrate más, júzgate menos. Muéstrate más, hazlo por ti, por tus negocios. ¿Qué tomaría para que tu energía llegue a las personas que te están esperando? Universo, muéstrame la energía que soy para seguir creando la vida que deseo. ¿Elegir o no elegir? Esa es la cuestión. Soy Francisco Calvillo.